I'm a very practical person. So when I found out about the conditional formatting feature in Google Sheets, I was so excited. It had been something I was doing by hand using charts and markers for years. So I want to show you how you can conditionally format some of your scores using Google Sheets. First thing you need to do is highlight the column or row that you're looking to conditionally format. Then come up to Format and click Conditional Formatting. Now I'm going to give these some rules, and I'm going to say if anybody has scored less than 39%, I wanted to highlight them in red so I can see them. They stand out a little bit more. There we go. Now I want to continue the rules, and I'm going to say my next rule is if they have scored in between 40% and 59%, and those percents are important, or it's going to look for a number and not a percent. I want it to highlight those students in yellow because then I can see who has scored in my yellow range. And these colors have been set by something that my district has already chosen, but that's what I like to use for this. Another one is if my students have scored in between 60% and 79%, I'm going to go ahead and give them that green categorization. And my next rule is I'm going to say if these students have scored greater than, and I want it to include 80%, so I'm going to say 79%. If any of these students have scored greater than 79%, I want them to be blue. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change it to blue because that wasn't one of my original options. I'm going to say done, and I'm going to close out. Now when I look here, I can see all of my students who have scored in the red, yellow range, green range, and blue range, and that's going to help me drive my instruction and perhaps do some grouping. Now the neat thing with conditional formatting is that formatting is always there. So say I realized I made a typo and this student really only scored a 7 instead of an 8. If I change that and hit enter, it's going to change my formatting, it's going to change my percentage, and the color that I had chose for that formatting. So that's one practical way that I use Google Sheets to help drive my instruction.